What's up, everyone? We're back with the best LPs of the 2000s, and the last time it went long. When I put it in the computer, I was like, "Oh shit, that's like 3.5 hours," and I like a long podcast, man. But that's fucking ambitious. So I broke it up, make it more palatable for everyone, and I hope that's okay. But this week we're gonna carry on with the part 2 of the best LPs of the 2000s. What you need to do is go get that new Take Offense record, right? We're going to get the new Take Offense record. We're going to get that last Minus record, self-released by Travis. That fucking shit is ill. That Take Offense is fucking sick. And we're going to support those bands, man. If you would like to support this podcast, please like, rate, review, subscribe, wherever you listen to podcasts. I would really appreciate it if you could take that extra 30 seconds and hit the like button or leave a quick review. Just say sick pod, bro. Fuck it. If you want to go the extra mile and support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/185 miles south and become a monthly Patreon. Those are my main dudes. Much appreciated. I appreciate the support. You can also do a one-time donation, paypal.me/185 miles south. All this money just goes to help keep the pod going, the monthly fixed costs, and I am trying to do as many interviews in person as possible. It makes them better. They're better than the phone interviews, and I'm trying to just motivate myself to do that when possible. That's it. Let's go with part 2. Best LPs of the 2000s.
"185 Miles South", a hardcore punk rock podcast.
These may be the ones I come back to the most when I am like wanting to listen to this era hardcore. These are the two records that I probably put on the most, is Count Me Out 110 and Count Me Out Permanent. So 110 came out in 2000, and Permanent came out in 2002. And we had a really brethren, thing. We toured with them a couple times, but I still, to this day, I will come back to those records. They're fucking perfect. They are Chain of Strength ripoff, but done a little bit differently, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more like...
I think that was always like, I don't back that at all. That was like people saying Mouthpiece sounds like Chain of Strength. It's just because the singer has a great yelling voice. So he has like a Kurt Cornelis-ass voice. But as far as them sounding like Chain of Strength, I don't think so.
I don't know.
They're it's just different style. It doesn't mean they're not great.
Well, Permanent is post-American Nightmare, Count Me Out sound.
I'm guilty of not listening to that album that much.
It's really fucking
I remember
good.
when it came out, and it was like, I don't know, it was really good, but like it was this 110 is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're talking sonically about a hardcore record,
the thing that I'm saying about the chain sound is like the palm muting.
You're talking about
downstrumming. Like,
you're talking about the downstroking palm muting.
Yeah,
on a fast part
on a very youth crewy sounding thing, but Count Me Out, like, take it from 4th gear to 5th gear. You know what I mean? It's like, and especially with Jason's voice, like, he sings on parts of the song that lots of other people wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? He's filling the vocal pattern on, like, the non-typical parts, and it's really good. And also the lyrics are just great hardcore lyrics.
That's where you lose me. I don't know. The lyrics are...
I don't think they're great lyrics on commenting on the world.
His voice is amazing, and 110 is one of the greatest sounding hardcore records of all time, especially for an album that is not relying at all on being heavy.
Yeah,
because obviously a heavy record is always going to sound better because it sounds fucking brutal, and you can like try to edge more and more into being brutal, right? So like to have a record sound awesome and be less heavy is harder, and 110 sounds fucking ridiculous. It's one of the greatest sounding hardcore records ever. But lyrically, dude, I swear to God, we used to listen to this record all the time in the Control van. We were on tour because it came out in 2000, right? So touring the whole time, because it sounds so good, and it's like you listen to the whole thing, and some of the best tracks are towards the end, like that Blue Oyster Cult Mosh song, ding 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 ding, and then it comes in, it's like they're doing a fucking Blue Oyster Cult riff. Fucking, they're doing "Don't Fear the Reaper" as a mosh part.
I think this is where the difference of maybe non-edge dudes listening to straight edge.
Okay, well, every single song says myself, yourself, or ourself. Every single song.
Well,
so we should make a drinking game out of that.
No. What I'm talking about is like,
so lyrically, it's just like,
hardcore-wise, this is more lyrically like commenting on the scene, commenting on being in hardcore for a long time, and you see friends drop away and turn around and talk shit on it. Obviously, it's not as lyrically, excellent as the Bane song that we've referenced in the past that just sums that up perfectly. But what I found when listening to this, especially if we're talking 110, is more just a commentary. Like, I don't need to know what happened in Richmond, but I can tell through the anger of these like songs is like there's been a lot of like letting people down, and
look, dude, what I want is a sonic sounding record that sounds good. I want a singer that's passionate about whatever the fuck he's singing about. I don't give a fuck what he's singing about as long as he cares about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just arguing for fucking 25 to Life like 30 minutes ago. Rick to Life didn't write good lyrics, but he cared about them. You know what I mean? And like whatever.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think
these
are good. Like,
this is on the level of keeping it real lyrics, but it's like it's meaningful to someone, but it's like really, I don't know. It's ourself, yourself, and myself.
We were talking earlier about that's the reason we all come to things and like things that are differently. I personally thought these were good, like well formed.
It's no Burned by the Flames, dude.
Well, also when you talked about just being like brethren and you're playing together, like that drives, because you really get to get a feel for, like, it's like the people behind, like what they're about. Like you're with them every day, and you can really determine like, do they really mean what they're saying, and like that's why it's gonna hit.
Oh yeah,
so much harder for you as opposed to Zach, who would make a drinking game.
Yeah, and as the drinks. I must have said myself because that keeps pounding that one.
You saw me have 1.5 drink, dude.
But also, how good does the record look? Like, just very different. That yellow, just like
Hulk Hogan's dick, dude. Yellow.
I haven't seen the sex tape. I'm sorry.
No, his fucking tights.
Oh no, I've seen.
What do you think of when you say yellow?
No, Hulkster's packing for sure, though.
Oh yeah, dude, he's hung like a stack of tuna cans.
I don't know.
Okay.
Man. Anyway,
and then Permanent comes out, and it's obviously a little post AN, like the influences of the using the pedal, basically a few pedals to get different sounds, get a bit more like expansive on sounds, but it's still that just straight up, like, I would say youth group, but it's angrier and more direct. It's its own like straightforward blistering hardcore that has to nod to youth crew. Do you know what I mean? It's not youth crew, but it can't be divorced from it either.
Well, Chain of Strength is gnarlier than Bold.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, after I just argue they don't sound like Chain of Strength.
Well, they obviously Love Chain, and I know that they actually did.
Yeah.
You know. Also,
Well, you'd be silly not to.
yeah, but
I mean, an amazing band that only put out 2 7-inches. Like, how can you pick them apart? Even if Kurt is, from all reports, not the
From all reports.
not the raddest dude, right?
from his own mouth.
Well, I don't follow
Yeah.
fucking Kurt on Facebook,
No,
so
he
everything is like
he's popping up on like Facebook, like discussion. Well, Javier from from OC will always repost things, so I see what he's
I
saying
haven't
without
seen it.
me.
Is he like the Morrissey of straight edge hardcore?
He's
at this point?
he's a MAGA brained beyond belief. But going back to Count Me Out, like the artwork for Permanent is really cool too. Like the Marilyn Monroe, like dot matrix, like Liechtenstein looking stuff with the silver sheen and
Damn,
and they
what a
always
description.
they always gave their all too, like whether they were playing to 15 people or playing to posse numbers to get like blowing other bands off the stage.
I think I only saw him one time ever. I feel like. Did you play with him out here?
Yeah,
a
we
lot?
played with them.
Then I must have seen him more. Just the only time I remember, it must have just been the first time, and I was really excited.
The one at the showcase with us and Carry On.
No, I saw him play in San Pedro, which was like the only time that I ever saw a show in San Pedro, which is just like little south of LAX. And it was like where Bill Smith's Records was. But yeah, some like kind of just big hall there. And they probably played, I don't know, 100 people in a room that could have probably held 600. But it was like great.
It must have been we must have played that as well then.
You would have
because
remembered.
We'd be on tour with them for that one, I think.
Maybe.
But let me I'll tell you a rad Count Me Out story. So I booked the West Coast portion of a tour, and like, as you do, shows start falling apart, and you start getting a call like the day before you're about to play somewhere, and they're like, hey, sorry dude, we can't do the show. You're like, what the fuck? So luckily MySpace is going and everything, and Andy Diehard tells me that there's this fest in Eugene, Oregon called Eugene Fest, and so we go there, and we're like, oh shit, it's a fest, like it's gonna be sick. We arrive at Eugene Fest.
That's off the. You can hit it on the 5, right? It's not like in.
No, I saw you guys in Eugene, I think. It's just like an hour south of Portland.
Okay.
On the main
it's-
freeway.
Okay.
but it's pretty rural.
Well, it's like
for a
it's
city.
redneck.
Yeah. No, it is.
It'd be like
That's what I mean by
yeah,
rural.
Yeah.
So we show up at this giant house, and it's like, one of the ladies who lived there was named Saffron. That should say it all, really. It's like,
It was the guitarist from that Backyard 25 live show.
no, but do you know what I mean? Like,
It always
so
comes
there's
back.
always, it's like hippies with crusties with whatever. Anyway, we walk into the backyard, and we see the flyer for the first time, and it says, Count Me Out from Sweden. Like, people like try and get wacky with flyers, and and it said Over My Dead Body, like something like straight edge. I can't even remember. Like, it's just silly descriptions for each band.
Yeah.
Anyway, Count Me Out. So Jason sees that on the flyer. They get up and play, and he the entire time acts like he's from Sweden. Like the entire time. Like some kids have come to see them, and they're like, he's tricking like actual kids who have been into their band. He's like, and then at this point he goes, okay, Eugene, we love it when you run in the circular motion. But and then this giant circle pit starts up with all crusties, because the majority of the backyard was full of crust punks, like maybe like 200 crust punks. No, that's too much. Maybe like 80 crust punks. So
Shout out 90s Ventura.
So then, Count Me Out's killing it. Like, there's a total Dust Bowl circle pit for them and stuff, and then, this was before they played. There was a full spread of food, and Count Me Out just dives into it, as well does our drummer Tommy. They're just eating it like crazy, like hummus, this, that, blah, blah. And someone goes, "Hey, Saffron, where did you get the food?" She's like, "Oh yeah, we got it out the dumpster this morning." So they're all like, like raking at their tongues.
Freegans.
And meanwhile, I'm like, thank God I'm just on a only Pringles diet for this tour. But then we play, and I get up, and it's all crust punks up front. I'm like, "We're Open Air Body, we're a straight edge band," and just beer just goes all over me. And then we proceed to play. I've laughed it off. It's like, whatever. This place is ridiculous. Die Hard Youth can attest to this. And then, my main thing on stage was to go side to side stomp, side to side stomp. And we're playing on this deck, and I go right through the deck.
Wow.
I'm like, oh shit, and meanwhile our roadie is just dying laughing. So I get up and I turn around, like a minute later into the song. I turn around. There's a guy with one tooth with two nails hanging out his mouth fixing the deck in the middle of the set, like while we were playing. I was like, oh, and I think I said in the mic, like,
shout out to him.
"Respect to Rufus." I didn't know what his name was, but I was just like giving him respect.
That's
But
real
Cletus.
redneck shit.
it was crazy. And then some Nazis started coming around at the very end as we were driving off, and they were total like true like ARA like crust punks. Like two girls come running out, just start socking Nazis in the face. Like,
No, that's what's crazy.
Fucking
That's what's crazy
wild.
about Oregon, because I think some people just assume it's all Portlandia.
yeah.
And it's like, dude, outside of it, it's
That
like
green room film's
dude, you're
quite
in,
accurate.
It's like, yeah, you're in the fucking sticks. I remember I want to say we played Eugene in the earlier pod. I might have told the story about the crust he had given me a ninja star for a t-shirt, which is so none of this
what a
sounds
bartering
so
system.
some dude like nailing up a stage while you broke it, like, it doesn't surprise me at all.
No, we built two dispensaries right outside of Portland in Oregon City, which is Clackamas County, and it's very
It's rugged.
whatever you feel when someone says Clackamas. That's what it feels like.
It's rugged, man. So
Yeah.
I can attest. So.
But back to Count Me Out. We keep going on these weird things, but
Well, it's because Greg's in a hurry, man.
yeah, sorry, Craig.
At this point, no, don't even worry about it.
Well, we don't have to go that long on some of mine,
I would say that
and I'm already 3 done.
the Count Me Out records are very important to me, and they are the ones that I keep coming back to. Even, maybe like AN background music meant the world to me at the time. I don't come back to that much, but I do come back to the Count Me Out ones over and over and over. And that United Blood that I went and saw Take Offense fucking destroyed the entire place. The main reason I went out there was Count Me Out was doing a reunion, and I'm like, I've got to go see that.
Yeah, Greg, have you ever listened to 110?
No, I have not.
You should put it on the list.
I
And
need to listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it on Spotify. Just for the sonically,
No,
just how it
definitely need
sounds.
to hear it.
Yeah, and like you'll get it.
Where are they recorded at? Do you know?
It's with the battery, dude.
Okay.
And it's like
It's even before.
It's that guy's fucking masterpiece because he did the second one. It doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, and he also did other records that do sound
He did a
amazing.
ton of records.
But the Count Me Out one
Count
is
Me Out
hardcore
110 is like-
personified.
Dude, it's amazing sounding, and like you get the production value within the first like 10 seconds. Just the way the record starts. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, Greg, I think you can go.
Yeah, I'll do another mid 2000s one. I'm gonna say Terror, Always the Hard Way.
Trying to hold me back as with the hammer of strength. Always, always, always the hard way. Nothing was happening to me. Always.
Now, is this the third LP?
This is the third one. So this is
post one with the Underdogs.
This is the first non-Todd writing record.
Yeah, and it's I think it's the second Trust Kill release, because one with the Underdogs is not Trust Kill. So this one, and like you said, it's the first post Todd record, and this is when Nick comes into play as like the main dude as far as writing goes. And I think it's an interesting time period for Terror, because like now they're doing, remember those like 10 for 10 tours, and like what was the other one, Sounds of the Underground tour. So it's like a lot of these like bigger metalcore tours were happening, and they started going into that. And I know they started like blowing up into like Europe too,
doing those Eastpak tours and stuff.
So
Well, they're 4 years in to being a legitimate
and they're a
touring
non-stop
band.
road dog.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you think about like 4 years so a 4-year stretch that every person can understand is high school, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And imagine how long high school feels, like from the time of your first day as a freshman to graduating high school.
This is a fucking blur.
At this point, there are 4 years of being like.
Is Busky on this record?
Busky is on it, yeah. Now the thing is interesting enough, Carl from First Blood
Writes some
actually,
of this too.
no,
Right?
yeah, I don't know how much of the writing credit is, but he played all the guitars and bass on it. So Nick,
And the thing that Carl brings to the band that didn't start out being in the band is hard as fuck backups that hold the. So Vogel can stick the mic out, but the rest of the venue is still getting, so the backups are starting to be written in a call and response way that people can participate, but the band is doing them now.
yeah, absolutely. And it's also, they recorded it with that dude Zeus, who did like
He did
Hatebreed.
Sick of It All before.
Yeah, and then
Hatebreed. Yeah.
Perseverance, Hatebreed. So it gets totally different production value from, especially one with the Underdogs. Because when I first heard one with the Underdogs, like I wasn't feeling like there's fucking just absolute bangers and there's staples of the live Terror set, but the production of it was just something was just off about it. I don't know what it was. And Nick recently remixed and remastered those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're on Spotify now. It's got different artwork too.
Yeah,
And,
I never liked the artwork for one with the Underdogs.
no, it's kind of that weird, like heavy Photoshop kind of.
And the weird, like, kind of just, I don't know, man found in basement, like, tied up BTK killer style. I don't know.
I think this is like really, one of the Underdogs is just like total scary, like Terror era too. So you get like Always the Hard Way, and like personally, I think this is one of the most like slept on records of their catalog, because this thing just has monster fucking tracks on it. Strike You Down, which is one of the hardest like anti-racist songs like ever. You get
Last of the Diehards.
Last of the Diehards, Test My Convictions. I mean, it's so killer. And another thing that I really like about this is like you get guest vocal spots from Aaron, and then fucking Eddie Leeway on So Close to Defeat. And like, I think it's such like for them to come back, not even a comeback. Like, let me rephrase that. For them to where it's like, okay, you don't have Todd, but now you're touring and you have like, Doug, and you have Three Gun in the band, you have Carl in the band. They're hitting all this stuff, and then they link up with Zeus, and they just drop this. I mean, to me, it's fuck. I mean,
and Busky's sick too.
Busky's
like,
too, so they get Busky in there too. So this thing, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of their fucking heavy, like as far as like heavy goes, like this is their heaviest sounding record to me.
Well, you haven't even mentioned the title track.
Oh, Always the Hard Way too, which is just such
it's
a
like
great,
again how we talk about like
great balance.
heavy plus catchy.
Yeah,
And
100%.
the call and response,
The impossible
vocals.
Yeah,
like,
the impossible fucking combination, and they knock it out of the fucking park.
So I think it definitely,
and the artwork.
Yeah,
I mean it's
sick.
nodding to the George Stubbs Warzone cover. That's it's kind of a nod to that, with also it just being brutal, you know?
Yeah.
As well as
Great record. And again, kind of how we were talking about Madball, bouncing back with record 4, even though, like, by no means is Look My Way a bad record. It's a good record. It's just, it's impossible to follow up on those first 2. Which, if you think about it, that's insane, because how do they do Demonstrating My Style after fucking Set It Off? You know what I mean? It's just like, it was so different than Set It Off that it was able to, like, kind of stay on the same level. It was like they're positive. But if you want to consider the second Terror like a little bit of a fall off, I don't know if I do or not.
No,
But this is a bounce back.
the only reason why I don't like one with, I can't even say it's not that I don't like one with the Underdogs. It's mostly just the production when the first time I heard it. And anyone listening, you should check out the remix that Nick did. They were able to get, I think they got like the rights from Trustkill and they reissued those. So it's definitely worth a spin because you get to hear it like what I think it should have got. And I think maybe you could hear Always the Hard Way, and it definitely has like that really heavy Zeus Pro Tools like kind of sound. But I recently put it on, and like it's just such gnarly heavy production for it, and it just makes these tracks just so fucking huge. And like I think a real slept on record in this like time period.
Then there's the funny thing where Vogel's just kind of like, just so you know, I'm a fucking mega hip hop head. Like most people already know that. You see him, he's playing in Gangstar shirts or whatever. But, having Dibs and Murs check in, and then later on in other records they have like Jedi Mind Tricks,
him going, yeah, motherfuckers, terror.
Yeah. But it just adds, it's even another kind of just nod to, the Warzone that Vogel loves, just to be like,
yeah, or a stitch back to like the Sick of It All stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
we're mixing, we're from the same worlds of like,
But that's
to quote their next record, the damned and the shamed.
Well, I mean, this what Terror is, though, right? It's like if you want to say that before and after Terror, and Terror is like the modern hardcore sound, they're also like the ultimate like stitchback band that's like always paying tribute.
Yeah.
So, and that's what makes them
timeless.
So, well, it's what makes them so special.
Yeah.
Where like, I mean, if I don't know, like, how could you ever? I don't know who could say a negative word about that band.
Oh, there's
that.
plenty of fucking kids that do. It's like now you have just demo core fucking snobs that act like they were born with like a copy of like Urban Waste in their fucking hands. It's
I know,
like,
but
no, you saw Terror on like a mixed bill, and you were like, holy shit, this is some of the realest shit I've ever heard. You picked up a record and then you started flipping through it, and it's like the dude's literally telling you like, listen to fucking Warzone, like listen to Agnostic Front. So they definitely put kids on the path to getting into like real hard. And then
that's what I'm saying is no serious person could ever like really give a knock. I just meant
like, oh, people.
No, well, I mean, there's people that don't like ice cream.
Yeah. No,
so
you're right. You've said this analogy before.
I know. Well, because it's like it's. I mean, it's
because how do you wrap your head around it?
How do you wrap? Like you can't argue with that.
What's wrong with you?
You can't argue with that. Like, oh, you don't want to fucking hang out on a hot day and go swimming and eat ice cream.
Well, it goes back to the, thing we reference a lot on this pod is pre-Terror, post-Terror. Some people are not going to like Terror because what has happened post-Terror, They're going to just be like, oh, I don't like any of that stuff because they like band B. You know? But that's just, it is what it is.
But it's progress, right? And like, it's like, okay, fine. I don't want a fucking widescreen TV. It's just the way things are going to go, and like, be happy that it's them.
Yeah. But some people do want that VCR 8-inch combo instead,
Yeah, but I think that they would be stoked that at least Terra's a band that's going to shout back to that and say like, that VCR is what got us here. True. You know what I mean? It could have been way worse. They're the band that they deserve to be the band.
Yeah. Well, for this third one, this one fucking smashes.
Yeah.
All the way through.
For sure. So let's go on to Greg. Your turn. You doing direct control?
So I'm gonna pick Direct Control, Your Control came out in 2006. And rest in peace, Brandon Farrell, who was the singer of Direct Control. Also,
The singer died. Huh?
yeah, original drummer of Municipal Waste too. But this is such a
This record's a ripper.
this thing. Yeah, it's the best way to describe it. It's a fucking ripper, and this is just like this is hardcore punk. You know,
Yeah, taking a stab on like that early '80s shit, but just being a little creative. And I mean, how do they match that recording sound? to have it
yeah,
sound
like
that?
and I think another thing too is you can totally tell that dudes playing this style. I mean, like you had to be like a student of it, and you had to, because these dudes have been in it for so long. This is all such pre-internet thing, so it's like if you're bumping like, you know, every early 80s, like all this like early 80s Boston hardcore, like Gangrene, shit like that, and just delivering it in this way. I mean, it's just a ripper. This is just like absolute ripping, face melting hardcore punk. You're as abused as the term is, like you're just fucking slamming to this. I mean, the way it sounds, vocal delivery, just killer.
Yeah, you know, like the cutout parts that Daniel was like referencing, that he was like, "Oh, it sounds like a little bit like Chuck Berry." I wonder if
Yeah.
that's actually like kind of like a. When I was thinking about it more, I was like, "That's almost like a Poison Idea throwback."
Yeah, kind of just like
Like you're getting funky on, like you're not doing like the cutout and doing the riff. You're cutting out and doing something actually like creative on the guitar.
Yeah, because especially this style. This style too. When did the American Hardcore documentary like drop? That's like
2006? Or
Yeah.
no,
the actual DVD, like the movie.
2004 or 2005, I think.
I think it's a little later.
Let's have a look.
Because the book came out on tour. We were in 03.
Well, the book told us that hardcore didn't exist after
Yeah, it
1986,
was
right?
great. No, but it definitely. I still think that there was like a super clear divide with this style. Like it was like you were punk. Like this was still just straight up considered like
2006 was the film.
yeah, like this was just still considered like punk rock, you know, and I think that film, like, because it was an incredibly popular film, and it kind of bridged the gap. It'd be like it brought it back to like, no, they're like this is hardcore punk, like, and I think it introduced. I think more punks were like kind of started like putting hardcore punk back, like the two and two together. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, but back to this, like
In certain circles of hardcore, there
You know
were
what I'm
people
saying?
that would
That
be
new-
embarrassed. Actually, Vogel, I've had many conversations with
Yeah.
Scott before where he's like, I only like hardcore, I don't like punk.
Exactly, and so this is one of those bands where, like, if you showed it to like a dude that was like strictly No Warning or Terror guy, I'd be like, "What? This is just fucking punk rock shit,"
Yeah.
you know? So I still think there's like a clear divide, but this is coming out in 2006, so it's like that it's starting to widen, and people are starting to kind of put two and two together.
But as we said when we were listening to this before the pod started, it was almost like, oh, this band could have played with Life's Halt and What Happens Next, etc.
Exactly.
Like crazy, you know?
But that's the thing is like it's 6 years after like that bandana thrash stuff died out,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's a real callback to this style's still here. Like it's not like a flash in the pan, because when that stuff came out, I was disappointed that Life's Halt got sucked up into it, because they were just a legitimately good hardcore band
Yeah.
from South Central Los Angeles. You know, in a time where it felt like there weren't a lot of bands from LA, or a lot of the bands that were claiming LA like weren't really from LA. And it was like, this is just a fucking Los Angeles hardcore band. And if you break down those Life's Halt songs, their riffs are actually really simple. They're basically just like Ensign, but played on 45 instead of 33. Yeah. Like, and it's just intense and wild. And then so that's why I like this Direct Control record so much, is it's just like, these dudes saying like this is not like it's not a gimmick genre. This is just like what we like about hardcore.
Exactly.
And we're taking a stab at it and knocking it out of the park in like this style.
Yeah, there's no like cosplay shit with this
That's a great way to say it.
direct control record. And that's what I'm saying. Like to write a record like this and just to do it so naturally, like this is just what was in this dude's blood.
Well, that what you were pointing out when we were listening to it earlier that is really cool is that the way that, you know, the riff of the song is the riff, but then there's the one guitar that flourishes on each part with going
Yeah,
like
it's
going
on,
way
on
up
the track,
high
on the
or-
track. Ronnie's dead. Yeah, like just hitting it up, like bringing it all the way down to that,
like a slide,
yeah,
like a
it's
straight up
super
guitar
cool,
slide,
yeah.
and it's unexpected,
Yeah.
and it makes them stand apart.
Yeah, it really reminds me of just like when I would you listen to like Jerry's Kids and like that just kind of like balls out fast, like approach to it. So
Well, arguably, like Jerry's Kids, Gangrene, a lot of that, you know, and as I mistakenly did before, like lump Poison Idea into that scene because all those bands kind of sound like that. The majority of the people who are finding them later on, especially unless they're being told by someone like this is a Boston hardcore band or whatever, they're listening to it like a lot of the people that are getting into them are just punk fans.
exactly,
And that's their entry point into hardcore.
yeah, it's stuff like this. I think like this record too, and just a lot of bands, because it was kind of especially in like Richmond too. You have like that record label Grave Mistake too. Like all around this time, like a lot of this stuff started popping up, and there was even like bands like Broken Needle, Bad Reaction, like on the West Coast, that were kind of just bringing it back to this style and to this sound. So, like it was just, I think it brought like a good youthful resurgence and that early 80s sound that was really just like you said, just associated with just like it's strictly punk rock shit or just like old guy stuff, because it was so just like no one's listening to this, so you had to be like really in it and really like this shit.
Well, what's cool about it too is like Zach pointed out that the bandana thrash shit had faded away, because the bandana thrash thing was like cool because it was you know referencing like the old Nardcore stuff, it was referencing the Circle Jerk stuff, it was referencing all of that, but then it became
It was goofy.
passe,
It became goofy.
like
it was-
cosplay, like was
It was
said,
fun,
you
but
know?
then it got silly.
Yeah, and this was kind of like
'Cause there was
no,
a-
the music has substance. It's not about
Well, Life's was like the secondary band in that because they were so good that like What Happens Next brought them with them. And I don't think What Happens Next was a good enough band to carry a genre. So it's like Life's Halt should have been the fucking forebearer. But they weren't like dudes in bananas trying to like revitalize anything. They were just like a fucking tornado. Like the first time we saw them play Chain Reaction, it was Public Storage, and like they only had the demo out, and they had their original drummer, and like the whole band just fell apart. Like they ripped it up for like I don't know 15 minutes, and then it was like the drummer destroyed his drum kit. And it was like, what the fuck happened right now?
well, the first
But
time
it was so natural and it wasn't posing. Like,
Yeah.
I hate when people destroy their music instruments. It's like, you're such a cocksucker if you break your guitar. Like, go give it to a 16-year-old kid that can't like afford a guitar.
Absolutely.
Like, fuck you.
Well, I hate
but like
when,
that was
when
so
singers
natural.
punch themselves in the face when they don't mean it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or any of that stuff. But when I watched Ernie for the first time, I was like, this is like fucking HR. Like he's doing contortionist style flips and stuff, not because I'm gonna go off. It's like the music's driving him to like whirling dervish around the stage. Like,
No, like
you-
Life's Halt coming out at the same time as like No Justice. Like those bands are like they're the same live explosion, but Life's Halt was better on record. No Justice 7-inch didn't back it up. You had to see them
Yeah,
live.
no, the 7-inch does. It has its moments, but
No, the 7-inch is good, but it's like not as good as that band was. It wasn't a representation. And just real quick on the Broken Needle and Bad Reaction shout outs. Shout out Bedge, shout out Todd Tyler. Sup?
yeah. No, that just those.
skate punks.
Yeah, no, just
when they played it twice at the shake.
When we
'cause they got
we
heckled.
made them play it twice.
no. I just think like just that those bands in that era just kind of bringing that style back, but definitely not posing about it and just delivering it. And I think it definitely brought a youthful resurgence to that style, which was kind of
Were there other
that, just
bands?
mostly old guy shit, and then just strictly punks.
Were there other bands that came from this kind of scene with Direct Control that you?
Oh, like government
liked as
warning
well?
would be another one. There was another band. They were a little later after Direct Control, and they put out Grave Mistake is the label that put out a lot of this cool shit. There's one band called Cardiac Arrest. They were from St. Louis. They were super dope too.
There's a lot of bands that do this genre at this
Yeah.
time, like on that label, but like this is a really good one.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
this
picked
one
this
fucking
one.
rips, though,
This is
man.
this is a
Like,
great choice.
You can hear it immediately because it's just it doesn't sound like anything was done to it. It's just like, oh, the mic set up, like, yeah, you got everything, boom. And when you can rip it that hard naturally, like it's perfect.
Yeah, so
Great slab of wax.
Well, going on into another record that lots of people would just say, "Oh, that's just fucking punk," you know, a record that is one that I cannot stop going back to. 20 years on, you know, is Explosion, the Explosion, Flash, Flash, Flash. Now, it is the most punk out of everything that we're going to discuss. It is designed, you know, to be that thing where, I don't know, it just is what it is. But
This-
well, the Direct Control could be arguably more punk, but they're playing the hardcore fast beat.
Yeah, well,
This is not the hardcore fast beat.
But
'cause
this is
I
also
don't-
as punk, like referencing like 77 type stuff.
Yeah, so this I don't really know much about it. So what band do they come out of? And
The Trouble,
okay, and
So-
and that's
This is a good record.
Gibby, and this guy Sam Cave, who is the main songwriter for The Explosion. So that was kind of like Boston punk, like oi. Mm-hmm. And then this is coming, and this is revving up the 77 factor, but also the breakdowns and stuff like are very played hardcore, you know. I could see why some people would be like, well, it's not really a hardcore record, but
Well, I'm like before when we were talking about the '80s, like my favorite punk or hardcore record ever is Bad Religion to Suffer. And I didn't put it on my list, and then you were saying Dawn would have it on his list, so it's where we draw our line is very weird, and the whole idea of this is kind of stupid anyway, because we're guys that don't like to put barriers on music. So to say like to do only hardcore is kind of weird, but it's also fun.
but
So I mean, it's okay if he chooses.
well, no, I would say Explosion, Flash, Flash, Flash has just as much in common as like Sick of It All, Built to Last, as well as, you know what I mean, those kind of like sing-alongs and things. But I could easily have had the Kid Dynamite record here as well, which is also, you know, on
Yeah,
the
it's
border.
just if we open
But
it up.
Explosion, I go back to, and I listen to this so much still.
I just think that if we open it up to all the stuff that's like really good and has like a little bit of a hardcore tinge, but it's you would think about it as punk. Like I just think of all the things that I'm not representing.
No,
right?
of
like,
course, but that
like
we
the first
we discussed
like the
this
first
off
Dillinger the first Dillinger 4 LP.
That's not hardcore though.
This guys are in Billingsgate,
Yeah,
and
but-
so like it's dipping a little bit. It's dipping as much as this is, you know. So I don't know. Whatever. Midwestern songs. I'm going there.
All right, what are you taking off?
Oh, this. I'm taking for Midwestern songs. I'm taking off Retaliate, dude. Fuck it.
But those are the best two hardcore records of the 2000s to the 2009. No, if nobody listening to this has heard The Explosion, it's really fucking good. This record,
It's really good, and they were really good live. We played with them in Indianapolis, and it was just a cool little club, and It was us, them. I can't remember who else, but they were a legitimately good band.
Yeah, the singer $1 Million Matt, like, is, you know, those certain frontmen that weirdly just put the crowd right in the middle of the palm of their hand, like, instantly.
You just
like,
got it.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen The Hives?
Yeah.
You know,
I've never seen him live. I've seen plenty.
okay.
Yeah.
What a great example.
He just takes the entire crowd and goes, "You're mine. Listen
Yeah.
to every word I say." You know, he does this in live, but it comes across on this record. Now, they did other things. There's a 7-inch that's decent, and then they did a major label record after this, and they took a couple of songs off this, and it's fucking unlistenable. This is the moment in time where the band is perfect.
What was the major label?
It's called Black Tape.
Yeah. What year did that come out?
I would say probably like 2004 on Virgin.
They
I
did
think.
4 years in between the records? Because this is
They
2000.
They did an EP after this. Maybe they did 3 years. Maybe it's 2003. But they got what's his name from 10 Yard Fight, the drummer, like then came into the band. He's a really good drummer. He's a session drummer now, Andrew. But when they were on this era, their drummer wasn't as good, but everything about this collection of songs, the way it's recorded, the way they looked on stage, the way they acted, the way the sing-alongs are crafted, everything about this is perfect. And the artwork is done by Damien, who did the Count Me Out permanent artwork. Damien from In My Eyes. He plays bass in this band. And the artwork's fucking great too, just like so 77, like brash yellow colors, like, it looks great. Anyway, I love this record, and I implore everyone who hasn't heard it to just put it on your Spotify. Give it a whirl.
So moving on from that to an inarguable hardcore classic, I'm going E-Town Concrete, Second Coming.
Every time a blessing, stop blessing, go out blessing, fuck the world, keep blessing. They say there's something wrong with us, maybe we lost touch, maybe we fucked up. I don't think there's nothing wrong with us.
From the year 2000, and like The Explosion, I would argue this is a band that I would argue it's a band that only got it right one time. Now, I do like the first record, Time to Shine, but it's raw, and it's them finding their sound, and there's glimpses of what could be here. And this is the second record, the second LP, and it is fucking perfect. Every single song is awesome. The first, dude, you can laugh. The first side of this record, I would put up against almost anything. The way that it's sequenced, it starts out with a banger. The second song, they go a little bit to like the melodic rap shit. Third song, same thing. Fourth song, they go banger, and then fifth song, they do like the full rap shit.
I'm not familiar with all of it. What is the E-Town song where it's just like, if you're not with us, you're against us? It's like,
Nah, I don't know. I don't know.
That might have been on a later.
Because like
shit.
anything after this, I can't go with.
Okay.
They went full like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like, I reused all my metaphors. I'm not going to talk about Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah.
Right. But
Please.
but if I talk the marshmallow falling off the stick, right? I've said that before.
Yes, that if this is the one where they pull it away before it falls off the stick,
And
it
it's
tastes
perfectly brown,
perfect.
dude. It's perfectly brown on the outside, and it's fucking cooked on the inside.
Does this
and the
have
s'more is just-
mandibles or
No, see, that's the record
Okay.
afterwards. Like, it's too. He's doing like a catchy rap thing and turns it into the chorus, and then it's like you're. After this, he tried a little too hard to have a chorus. This is like there's no fucking choruses on this shit. Like,
There's only puffy vests.
dude, it's so fucking good. Like, and I hate melodic hardcore, and like these guys use melody with like, but there's crunch.
Well, these dudes. Well, first of all, these dudes are like musicians. Like
The bass player is playing like the fucking 7-string bass that
he's
Daniel's
not
been
playing-
fantasizing about.
He's not playing with his
whole
fucking.
time.
He's not playing with a pick.
No, and he hiked that shit up high.
Yeah.
It's
Like
like,
just
it's
under
on
his
his
chin.
Like
it's
a-
on his nipples.
It's under
Like
his
a
chin.
real-
It's right under his chin.
Like a
dude.
real bass player should.
Yeah, I mean, like these guys are fucking playing, dude. They are so underrated in this time. Like, I saw them 3 times. One late. I see them playing every time to not that many people, and like they're just an amazing band.
Dude,
Like,
I think because obviously, and they probably hate hearing this, but everyone's just like, well, why was Limp Bizkit bigger? Like, why didn't E-Town get it? I think, and this is all props to E-Town, but I think E-Town was just like too, like actually like a good band, and like was smart.
they wanted to be. I mean, they obviously wanted to be famous. I mean, I think they were trying to do that from the beginning.
Yeah,
And that's why,
but-
like, maybe this record is a mistake. It's like, it's a transition from them being too raw
Yeah.
to like too overproduced and too like trying to be famous, kind of.
Well, one thing I will say about it is that they are trying to expand the genre through playing. Like, you know, there's jazz chords in there.
there's lush chord arrangements.
There's also, you
This
know,
guitarist is so fucking
He's fucking
talented,
awesome.
and like you're talking, and the drummer's insane. Like, if as a band, they're so good, and the singer, like, look, there's such like a knock on like white rappers, right? I guess, like, so some people think that's silly, but dude, this guy's style is good, and like I'm a rap aficionado as well, Daniel. You can take a look over there. You can go through my collection. You know what I mean? Like
no disrespect to anyone.
I'm very picky about hip hop, and he's pretty fucking good. Like, both with like the way his voice is and his lyrics are fucking
He
good.
crafts a story.
Hey, he didn't have Nintendo. He had Pretendo. What's up, dude?
Oh shit! You just blew my mind apart with his science.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, they go full in on song 5 and like do a full rap song. It's not silly. It's like,
Yeah.
the whole record's good. The fourth
I
song,
disagree.
The
I
fourth
think
song,
it is.
the fourth song is like pure pain of like, you know, not having a dad, and like, I don't know, like he gets like emotional in these lyrics. Like, I don't know. I fucking love this record. I don't give a fuck.
I know you love it, and I respect you, and I'm glad you love it. I don't think you ever give it an honest listen. I've definitely listened to it.
Never.
It definitely doesn't speak to me.
I don't think you've ever given an honest listen, because I think anyone that did would like come away loving this record, because it's like so not. It's
Thanks,
so
Rick.
it's so non-pretentious. I don't know. It's amazing.
No,
I think it is pretentious.
How?
No.
How could it be fucking pretentious? Dude. If I'm seeing them fucking play, they're touring and trying to like do it. They're playing to fucking 30 people on the West Coast, still coming out. Like, what's up?
I only said that to trigger you.
No,
and
I finally got triggered, dude.
very much did.
I can build on that. Like, so different record, but I remember like hearing "Time to Shine," right? And you're like, okay, you start, you know, you're gonna laugh at it, you know, especially if you're like Mr. fucking like hardcore punk aficionado kind of thing, right? And I remember like listening to it, and I'd be like, wait, no, like this dude's fucking sincere. So back to your
There's
point.
a piece here and a piece
No.
there, but that first one is like very like
Yeah,
Where does the Renaissance?
late.
that's late. Yeah.
Later.
There's like 2 late ones after this.
No, but like you hear it, and like then I started like actually listening, like, okay, dated obviously with like the piccolo snare, so it's
The first record.
first record's gonna sound super dated with that nicey, but I start hearing it and I start like damn, these dudes are just like dropping into just different grooves, different tempos. So like already I was like, dude, there's actually a lot more to this band. Now it's just like, I think if you're also super fucking regional band too, because this
For
is,
sure. They're a
this is-
band that's like doing 1,000 at home and
This
and,
in Jersey,
and doing
right?
30 outside, right?
So
But you can tell which 30 people are from your scene are gonna be at the E-Town show.
Hey,
I can tell
dude.
you that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if In Control rode for this band. We love this fucking band.
I know.
We love
I
this
don't
band.
get it. I don't get it.
No.
I think you should listen to this record again. I'm not vouching for either of the records. And see, both you guys came to me both. The first thing you said was like, "What record's Mandibles? Oh, which one's the Renaissance?" Like, you guys are like looking at you're looking at their whole catalog, and I'm telling you, this is like a special record that they can never like touch again. It's just you have to look at it on its own.
I'm just trying to expand the conversation.
No,
whatever.
yeah, no, I don't know. I think how
We
many?
can move
no,
on
how
from the
many?
record.
No, because another crazy thing too. How many M bombs does he drop on Second Coming?
That could be a knock. That's definitely
Could be a knock.
That's a knock now. It's like, look, I didn't grow up how the guy did. I don't live his life, so I don't know what the fuck.
I always just
There's like,
assume,
dude, okay. I mean,
there's like, and because I've seen like at like I don't know, I've seen that kind of dude, or it's like a white dude that grew up that and like can say that shit because
again, I don't know
maybe,
what the fuck.
maybe like other black dudes that he's with, like they know, like they'll just know. I don't know, maybe like, but I think that's immediately what, like if you haven't heard E-Town and you're like, what is this? And you're like, oh, it's a white dude. So I think that's a huge part of why so many people are like, oh, dude, this is fucking ridiculous. So I think that's what immediately that's the first hurdle. That's the first E-Town hurdle you gotta clear.
Okay. I will concede that that's a giant hurdle. But I mean, there is an awakening coming from all the rappers saying the other F word at some point.
No,
Without
Because
a doubt.
that is tossed out there pretty liberally.
When you went and saw Nas recently, the lyrics that say that word often, was that still being said?
I don't think he.
Because Ether,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
feel
fucking-
I feel like Nas didn't say the N word. Like
no,
he was
I'm talking about.
the other F word. I feel like Nas is actually like trying to be woke enough to
No,
not.
that's what I'm
He's-
saying.
no,
Like,
I
did
mean-
you see him like play Ether and then because he says the F word? Like,
I know,
a
I know.
lot
Yeah.
in that.
I feel like he didn't, but I also feel like he's not even saying the N word anymore. Like,
well, like at that ROC show in LA, like this kid put on like Big L on the PA, and I hadn't heard Big L in like the longest time. And I was just like, "Oh my fucking god!"
it's
Where
pretty.
he's just like, if Big L got AIDS, then every cutie in the city's got it. I was like,
You can still say that. You still say that.
oh, but you can't say like, if a bitch asks me for a ring, I'll put one around her eye. No, but honestly, I feel like one of his top lines is, I wouldn't give a bitch 10 cents to put cheese on a Whopper. That's fucking.
That's brilliant.
That's a fucking brilliant line. I don't give a shit.
As Beavis, I get nothing but head. Dude, we can go with Big L. I got both records. Go check.
No.
Big L, rest in peace.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on to a record that's not as good as that. Who's next?
Okay, you did. All right, I think you have. I don't know if you want to save mine for the closing out, since it's kind of like right at the end of this decade. So
Oh yeah, we
if you
should
have
say
a-
that.
If
So
you have another one you want to hit,
Daniel, you got
I got one
one
left.
more. I got one more. Daniel, let's do Bane. Very important band.
This record suffers from how much the band leaned on it, I think. Like in posterity, like people.
But let's do
back,
let's do
but-
props real stuff, or because
but
how we were
this-
talking about Madball, this is another bounce back record because this
yeah.
after the first LP. So they do the
The first LP's good,
They
but
do-
this is perfection.
They do this.
for the
They
band.
do the CD, which is the compilation of 3 7-inches, right? So they do 3 7-inches, then they re-release the 3 7-inches. That gets looked at as like the first record kind of in the way like the lowest of the low would be, right? Because
Well,
everyone had that Bane CD.
It's the way to have everything, because some of those 7-inches at the time, a couple of them were pressed smaller amounts, and
Sure.
you couldn't.
Sure. So everyone has that CD.
Not everyone had them.
But everyone has that CD, right?
Or
And Bane does good off that. They put out the first record,
it all comes down to this.
right? And then they put out this is the second record, and it's like the one.
It's a game changer. Like,
I mean, I would disagree on Game Changer because I think they already changed the game with like the CD of the first 3 7-inches. I think that is. I think like Bane is as much of a game changer as Hatebreed. Where Hatebreed made every band had breakdowns.
this is octave core.
This is
as
octaves.
you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I would say about
It's so
in the
much more
game changing,
musically interesting though than like all the other octave core.
Of course,
shit.
but it's like,
said,
but it's like every band that's sorry is like, oh, that part
Yeah,
sounds
true,
cool, and so they
true,
can just
yeah,
like
yeah.
every fast part is an octave, and then like we stay heavy on the breakdown.
but the thing about this record is, this is an example of a band going away instead of like, okay, we're practicing. We've got 2 new songs after this practice. We got 3 new songs after the next practice, and you're working towards getting it. This is a band that like goes away and thinks about what an album is going to
No,
be.
yeah, no.
How is this going to go from one song to the next?
It
What are the topics? What are the
fucking great.
yeah?
Just
And this is a
Well-
McTurnan record as well.
Yeah.
They had to have known the first album didn't hit because they were like, dude,
But it did though.
but it didn't.
It
didn't, dude.
The high parts are extremely high.
Yes.
The low parts are forgettable beyond belief of the
okay.
first LP. Now, so like, Can We Start Again and things like that, they are very listenable on the record, but they're made on the stage.
yeah.
Whereas this record, you listen to this,
But being
all
like,
the
I just
time
I
away
remember
from seeing.
I remember going to the showcase before that CD was out, like re-releasing that stuff, and like feeling like me and whoever the guys that I was with from Menard were like the only people not in on. Not that it was a joke, but like we're the only people not in on the joke because everyone in there was going fucking nuts for Bane, and we'd never even heard of this fucking band. It's like they were like scene famous before that CD. Because they were like a game changing band, like people knew like the wave of the shit was coming,
Yeah, but
and so
what makes them a game changing band and why you maybe weren't tapped in yet is that they're fucking giving everything on stage,
Absolutely.
especially at this time,
Absolutely.
They're giving everything. Bedard is the realist, like, I'm not afraid to talk about anything on stage, or to
No, I'm saying that was-
eloquently
Sure.
sum up the feelings that we all wish we could sum up in the way that he does.
I'm saying that night I was converted.
Yeah.
It was like, what the fuck is this? This is the most insane. And I love those 3 7-inches. And I just think that like for a band that was like that hyped and it's like, this is the fucking thing. They put out that LP and there was a lot of people that were like, no, it wasn't everything they thought it would be.
That's the same. I agree.
Okay.
When that
And then
when
they-
that first LP came out, I was like I say, the highs were really high, and then the rest was
Right.
filler.
So it's not like a cohesive LP.
no,
right?
no.
They're like,
but I'm saying it gave them.
I know.
It gave
So
them a
we're
lot.
arguing even though we're agreeing.
Yeah.
Because basically what they're doing is
But they
after
go
the
away.
LP, they go away, they lock themselves in a room, and they were like, we're going to write our Bane masterpiece.
Yeah.
And this is the Bane masterpiece. Whether you love them or you don't love them, this record's undeniable.
This record is a masterpiece for the simple fact that they went away having been a road hardened band of the same, pretty much the same members since they started, of being, because they're all the same members up to post this record is when people start leaving the band and stuff. But for Give Blood, it's all the same dudes from Worcester that they've been in a van together for the last 5 years almost all the time. And then they've, shared everything. And then they can I think it's what really locks them together as a band, where they can, like you've seen the Fugazi documentary, and they say they don't write set lists, but they can kind of like go from one thing, but with looks. I think Bane's on that level at this point, and I think everything comes together perfectly. Like after Give Blood, the title track, I feel on their next records and stuff, they tried to, we got to write that like crescendo, like amazing masterpiece, but this time it comes naturally. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just this, give everything, give blood, like give more, give everything, give blood. Like what a call to light hardcore, that Snakes Among Us song, the song that's basically about that they toured with Saves the Day, and early, I think that's probably the tour that you saw them, where you were like, whoa, what is this? Same, that's like my first live experience with them.
Were you there at Showcase?
No, just the San Diego Empire Club show.
Okay, I wasn't there.
But
maybe I wasn't.
The song's about like, you've chosen the way to go, like you're, going on your buses and going on tour. I'm going to be sitting in a van with my friends worrying about money for the rest of my life, like, God, he sums it up so well. And then lyrically, the thing he does where he quotes American Nightmare, or he quotes someone else, I can't remember who now off the top of my head, but he goes, as the man said, and then he delivers the line from the other song, but incorporates it into his lyrics. It's almost like the way hip-hop lyricists do homages and bring in a line from somebody else, like, and then
she's a big
make their own.
head, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do it too. You just don't listen to Tom Waits.
Well, yeah, now you got me off my thing.
Then he's
there.
poking back to the lyrics of
but
other...
I'm just saying, like, lyrically, he is firing on all cylinders to, like, that everybody who's listening to this is like, oh my God, I'm in. I'm in with you. And I mean, the cover star of the record is their van.
Yeah.
It's the most perfect like thing to explain what this record means to them. Like they gave everything because they're seriously on the road like 10 to 11 months out of the year.
Yeah, and the way you said, going away and then spending time. I mean, when the first time I heard this too, I was like, oh, holy shit, there's a dramatic difference here. And no, you can just tell they spent just time dialing in how this thing fucking sounds, just sonically, like, which I'm always gonna be able to hear a lot of that stuff. Like just production wise, it's fucking incredible sounding. And I don't think anything was like missed over when this was done, or nothing was just like, yeah, it sounds good enough. Like no, they fucking like,
well, like on that song where it drops out and they do the do 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 do. So play the violins. Zach sings that part. Like he brings something a little bit different, like with the screaming. This record just, it is maybe not revisited as much for me because it was a place and a time, and I probably burnt it into the ground at the time. So I don't maybe go back as much. And I wish I had gone back to listen to it before recording this so I could be a little bit more eloquent about it. But it's an important record, and the lyrics are as top-notch hardcore lyrics as you'll ever hear.
There's a moment that always, it's like my favorite Bane moment in Ali versus Frazier, because how the song starts off, it's kind of got like the inverted fast beat, like the taka 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 taka, like that, and then it, like a taka, and then it cuts to the like the riff, like the da na 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 na, and then it just, the way that transitions, it's a split second transition. So you once again, like going what I said, when they, nothing was just like glossed over here. Like it was just like this is how these parts are gonna fucking hit, But they're naturally though, like how you said, like not like forcing anything.
Well,
It's
the
just
same, the crafting of the backups.
Yeah, these things
too.
are just like
Well, they're just they're an undeniable band. Like again, just like Terror. Like if you don't recognize the greatness, you're a dick.
no.
Like you're trying too hard. If you're like, oh, I don't like Bane. Like you don't have to like them, but you gotta. They're one of the biggest hardcore bands on the planet for a reason, because they should be.
We got to do kind of one of their last U.S. tours, kind of when they were alluding that like, hey, we're going to be calling it quits soon. And this is Turnstile had just put out like Phased Out, or no, not Phased Out, Nonstop Feeling. So it's Bane, Turnstile, T.O., and every fucking night. And I'd seen them occasionally, just on like different shows, but it's like different when you're going to be like on like hitting it on the road with the band.
I was psyched when you were on that tour.
Yeah, and also too, like I didn't know how they were gonna be as like people, or how they would like react to our music or whatever. But just never met an example of like how you should conduct yourself as a band on tour. Just like how they would talk to people, like. Not in this like, oh, I'm putting on an act because I want to look like I'm we're the older band that we look like we want to take care of each other. It's like, no, it's generally like talking to you, like generally stoked that you're like with them, like they're not invested in you, but like you feel it, and I could just.
They're solid hardcore dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're tried and true solid hardcore guys.
Yeah, there's no like you just know it immediately when you start talking to them. So.
Well.
And then, dude, I mean, you can't, like you said, dude, every goddamn night just...
And it poured out there like that?
Yeah, it just sounding so fucking dialed in on it. Just crazy.
Well,
crazy.
What you're saying is, Bane took you on tour, what year was that? Like
This was...
like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they took us on our first tours, and...
They were the same.
Exactly the same. Like... Bedard would be like psyched. He'd be like psyched on me. Like,
yeah, man.
He'd be like, "You're fucking so psyched on Straight Edge, aren't you?" Like, and it would be making him happy. He's like, "Oh, I just fucking love to see that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am," And I was just experiencing all this touring the East Coast for the first time and everything, and then to catch up with him.
Yeah.
At that show, you were playing with them, and it's still the same vibe.
No,
Where'd they play that you saw?
Parkside, right?
Parkside, yeah.
Because it's the first time I ever saw Turnstile.
Is that in the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why they fucking touched so
the
many
fucking
people,
club
man.
was playing Bane on the house sound before Bane. Remember that?
Jesus. No,
They shouldn't play hardcore in between hardcore bands.
ever.
Never.
Or metal.
No, nothing abrasive.
Yeah.
I think you
Should
can
be
get
Massey
away
Star
with certain
always.
type. You can get away with more like classic rock sound and shit. I think is always cool.
Come on, you do construction. Do you ever want to hear classic rock?
No, I actually at my company am not allowed to listen to music.
Oh.
On our site, so yeah, it's a bummer.
Cool. I think Bane got well represented. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, Aaron Bedard is doing a new band,
Antagonize, right?
Antagonize.
And another dude, guitarist, is doing a new band too.
Yeah, with Brian McTurnan from Battery singing. I think.
Yee. Interesting.
Yeah, but Bedard just showing. I mean, this dude is on the cover of Break Down the Walls.
Yep.
He's in the crowd on the cover of Break Down the Walls. He's doing a new band and has come from doing, in our time, a legendary hardcore band and is happy to open at Sound and Fury and, like, yo, we should be,
No,
he is hardcore
that's how you know.
personified,
Tried and true.
so. Bane Give Blood, very important 2000 era hardcore record for me.
For sure.
No, you can't deny that.
Yeah, and I'm glad they made the list because, like, if we didn't have Bane on, that'd be a bummer.
Yeah.
They didn't make the 7-inch list because it was too hard to decide which 7-inch.
Well, because if we could have formed a 7-inch from all the best songs, it would be undoubtedly like top 10 of all time. Really.
Well, it would have been your favorite 7-inch ever because the two best main songs of the 7-inches are both straight-edge songs.
Straight edge bangers.
Yeah.
Count Me Out and Superhero.
So I will go with my last choice is Faded Gray, A Quiet Time of Desperation, 2001.